Morning. Um, so I've been in my closet for a few hours just because I haven't been able to sleep, and I was going through my Jesus box, which is this big box here, and it's got just like a bunch of letters and little tokens and things of things that God has taught me in the past, and things that are important that I want to keep forever. I keep in here. And I was just looking through some things, and I found this thing I wrote in my, it's like a growth, it's like a growth portfolio that I made while I was in master's, and there was one called Season of Miracles, and it was mostly financial miracle. And I don't know, I'm kind of in that same spot where I'm like, how I initially talked about like sacrificing like money and living alone and being an adult is difficult, and sometimes you have to choose bills or food, and are just different things. And I'm so blessed to have an incredible fiance who just takes care of me, but just like trusting in God as well with my finances. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So this was back in August 21st of 2013. I'm not sure. I think this was my third year of master's. Yeah, third year. So August 13th or 21st, 2013, it says, back at Heartland Masters Commission, finding out when I arrived that I might not be staying. The money I thought was guaranteed to help with coming back to HMC was less than I needed. It says, I was an utter mess. The confirmation I thought I had received in July seemed obsolete. And before I came back for a third year, I really wrestled with God and was like, do I go back? Do I not? And I didn't know. And I didn't know what God wanted me to do, and it was kind of like he was kind of quiet. And I was praying and spending time with him and seeking wise counsel, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I just, I felt like something was confirmed in July, so I decided to go back in August 27th, so 6 days later. It says, received an encouraging reminder from Amber, who was the director at the time's wife, today that I do in fact hear from God, and that she sees me trying to be obedient to him. And I said, coming to the realization, however, that I will walk this year alone, but I will never be alone. Still praying for God to help me in my unbelief. Every day that I walk into the office, I feel undeserving and overwhelmed by the financial burden I feel as though I am. I'm drowning in doubt, but I know God is faithful. He has come through countless times. And unfortunately, there wasn't a date for this last entry. But I've been praying, and throughout my seeking God, Zephaniah 3:16 through 17 kept popping in my mind. In 2013, that was kind of like my life verse. It says, on that day, they will say to Jerusalem, do not fear, Zion. Do not let your hands hang limp. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. His love will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice with you, over you with singing. This verse hit me one morning in devotions and brought me to tears. Do not let your hands hang limp. And I just pictured that, worshiping and giving God my everything. And just because the current situation isn't what I thought it would be or what I wanted, that God was still worthy, even though, you know, if nothing else happened for me, that God was still worthy. And it goes on to say, as Kirby time was coming into session, I was given a card. On the outside of the card was the verse that I had just read, along with some money from my host parents, Elmer and Julie, which I love them so much. They're amazing. I was so encouraged by that, and I knew instantly that God saw me, and I was never gone from his sight. A few months later, I received news that all my tuition was completely paid for. All debts and everything was gone. And I look back at that kind of stuff, and I am just I'm so in awe of how much God really does care about the little things. It was a big thing to me, but staying in school, and you know, there was another time when it was my first year at Master's Commission, and we were going to Moldova, and I wanted to go there so bad. In 2011, God just birthed a passion after I found out one of the people that I cared for, something horrible happened to her, and ever since then it was God put this incredible burden on my heart for sex trafficking back in 2011. And I mean, it's been around forever and ever and ever. But so we were gonna go to Moldova, and we were gonna get to talk to some of these girls. And Moldova is one of the largest engines for sex trafficking, and I mean, it's everywhere. But I was my heart was touched, and I wanted to go, and God was well, do you trust me? And I was well, yeah, God, I trust you. And he was well, give me everything you have. And I was okay, well, I don't have a job, so all I have is 2 quarters, a dime, and a nickel. And God's do you trust me with what you have? And this is when the offering plate was going around. I was yeah, God, I trust you. And he was okay, well, give it to me. And I was no, that's silly. He's not if you trust me. So I did, and that whole week I got a check checks from different people, and money and cards, and all they said was trust God. And I was totally blown away. And you know, God used other people to kind of step in and take care of some other needs in my life and at that time. And you know, there's sometimes when I'm struggling financially, and I'm God, where are you? And you came through for me back then. And it's I'm not trying to seem like a user or whatever. Just what I want is faith to believe that, you know, I'm doing everything. My old director always said you do everything you can in the natural, and God will do everything he can in the supernatural, or God will take care of the rest in the super. I don't quite remember how it went, but you get the picture. Or work like it depends on you, and pray like it depends on God, or something like that. Oh gosh, that's bad that I can't remember. So yeah, that's kind of the spot I'm at right now, is just praying. And I want to pursue God, but there's sometimes there's things that hold me back, finances. And I know that's the same for a lot of people. You get scared and you want to hold on to that because money is important. It's important to pay your bills, and it's important to you know, feed yourself. But I think it's Matthew 6:26, the verse about God. You know, God watches out for the birds, and he feeds them, and they don't do anything for him, and God still takes care of them. And you know, God will take care of us too. So that's it. Just a word of encouragement for anyone who is worrying about finances or worrying about trusting God. God does care, and it's just that you have to take that step and, say, here it is, God, like, I don't have anything, and He'll take whatever you've got. So, hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday.